So, welcome guys. How is everybody doing? Welcome to another live session. We are having the 23rd live session now. So, it's nice to know that 22 of them have already been done. I've covered the free SOP review in a video previously. So, this video is going to be about letter of recommendation. And the aim is that till the time most of the live sessions end, you are able to like prepare your own documents and you don't have to go to any kind of consultant. Now because like it's better to save money on these kind of things and rather use that money in somewhere else where you can actually have a better use for it. So that's that, and let me know again from which cities you're coming from. um Prakash, thanks a lot for your super chat. Always appreciate your support. So let's get started with the cities. It's really funny. Like every single time I'm on the live session, there's something which is coming out of my mouth which isn't really perfectly right. But anyways, like that's pretty much the beauty of having these kind of sessions in real life. So again, Abhishek Sharma is coming from Himachal. Aha, interesting. He used to be living in New Delhi. Satyam Raj Bhuvneshwar, Ravindra Kinaji, hi Anil Jat Jaipur, New Delhi. भाई प्रणाम प्रणाम भाई साहब. पुणे, हैदराबाद, बेलगांव, मुंबई, Mysore, प्रयागराज, दिल्ली, भुवनेश्वर, कानपुर, कोलकाता, बेलगांव, हैदराबाद, बेलगांव, नागपुर. भाई को नमस्ते. हाँ भाई, तेरे को भी नमस्ते. Welcome everybody, whoever is joining. It's really nice to see that you have been watching from all over the country. Yeah, we have some politically motivated people in the live chat. Let me just remove them first. All right, really nice. We have from Assam, we have from New Delhi, from Tripura, from Delhi again, Patna, Chandigarh, Pune, Tripura. Really nice. That's really nice to know. And at least in Germany these days, it's getting so goddamn cold. So sometimes I really think about like the cities that you're writing right now, and it's like decently, the weather is still decent there, but in Germany it's like minus. We have Mayur joining in from Gießen, Germany. Another one from Germany, super nice. From Kuwait. Mayur Bhalerao came from job right now. Man, but it's late. It's 9, right? It's 9 o'clock there. How are you coming from job now? Well, the funny part is, like in Germany, you don't have to worry about that at all. So once 5 o'clock comes, you're done and you can just leave. Alright, then now let's slowly start moving towards the session, because the first 25 minutes of the session are going to be again just purely how do I say, it is going to be just like telling you what exact strategies you have to use for the letter of recommendation, and then afterwards the rest 30 minutes, because I have time till 10 o'clock, like everybody knows, every single Wednesday. Yeah, then I'll be able to review some of the letter of recommendations that you send me. So Devansh Dash, thanks for your super chat. Adi Kop, is it snowing in Hamburg? Not yet, Adi, not yet. Hopefully soon. Alright then, let me go towards the main screen. So we are not starting in 5 minutes, we have already started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bharat Chaudhary and I'm doing my Masters in International Management and Engineering from Technical University of Hamburg. And this live session is again an extension of the online course that I have, which is everything related to studying in Germany, your pre-admission processes, post-admission, any kind of other things that you need to know about studying in Germany. Every single thing is compiled in one single place. The link you will find in the description of the video, of course, but that's for the later things. Now let's get started. Let me pull out the pointer here. Looks better. Okay, so first of all, how you're going to submit your letter of recommendations. You can put the Google Docs link in the comments. Try that. If it doesn't work, I have written my email address in the description, so do that. You can directly go to the description, find my email address, and you can write to me an email there. So that could be another thing. But in general, I think, let me see if it works or not. Try like putting your Google Docs link in the chat and see how it works. So also make sure that the sharing is on and it is actually viewable. And if you have any kind of personal details like your address or I don't know, any kind of thing that you think might be sensitive and somebody can actually target you with those kind of details, just remove them. And also the letter of recommendations that I would be getting, I will be picking that up on a random basis, so it's not like a first come first serve. So let's see what are the first ones that we are actually receiving. I'll just wait for a while and see how things Alright, so do we have some letter of recommendations coming up? Yes, Faizan, most of the letter of recommendations, they have to be sealed in an envelope, so there has to be a stamp across the crease, like where the envelope actually flips. So right at that line where the envelope is joining the other part, or like it's folding, you have to put another stamp with the professor's name and the department and all of that, and it also has to be signed on that crease so that anybody knows. If somebody does it in a different way, people might actually they will then not regard your letter of recommendation as something as a legit one, and yeah, so like it wouldn't be considered proper. So all right, we have some letter of recommendations coming in. So Srinidhi has sent me one. All right, let's do all of those afterwards. Now I'm going to go through the guidelines now, and then let's review the letter of recommendations. So first of all, here are the important guidelines that you have to like 100% understand and always follow. And which is, first of all, generally the universities are only going to ask you for 2 or 3 letter of recommendations. Maximum times it's not 3, it's always 2. So prepare that if you are working, you have one from your professor and one you have from your HR manager or your project leader from the company where you're working in. If you are a student and you never work, then it's better that you have both of them only from your professors. No? So again, this is something that you should be really, particular about, because it shouldn't be like you are having 2 or 3 or 5 different kind of letter of recommendations. All right, nice. We have Sagar actually did send a letter of recommendation too, so you can actually put the links in the not super chat, like the normal chat. You can do that. So with that out of the way, now we know that people can also actually submit the links directly in the chat. That's really nice. And now let's move forward. So again, like this is extremely important and shouldn't be, there is no exception to that. You cannot think that, hey, it is fine, I'm going to first, send the letter of recommendations from some kind of assistant professor or something. I don't think that's a great idea, because, well, if you're sending an academic letter of recommendation, it has to be from somebody who has some kind of standing in the academic community, right? So that is something you also have to take care of. Now, the first and foremost and the most, like I already said, the most important point for freelancers is generally that they need a reference letter. So they don't have a letter of recommendation at that time, but they would rather have a reference letter from somebody for whom they worked. and that person can just write them a reference that this and this services are used from this freelancer. And yeah, like this was my experience and so on. Sorry, I ate something. Again, now the second one is it must be on the letterhead. So it doesn't matter if you're getting the letter of recommendation from an academician, so like maybe your professor, maybe from a scientist, something like that, or if you are taking it from your company's personnel, it has to be on a letterhead. So like there's no way around it. Then afterwards, also for employers, so this is the kind of letter of recommendation that you would get from your HR manager or project leader. It's always nice to include a short intro about who they are, what they are doing, and then afterwards they can start with why they are recommending you for this kind of thing. So we just got a super chat right now. Satyaki Chatterjee, thanks a lot for your support, man. LOR from a professor who's currently in some other university, but he was in my college, and under his guidance, I did my research work. Will it get accepted? So Satyaki, it really depends. I don't think he can use the letterhead of his old university, of course, but if he wants, he can use the letterhead of the university where he's working at right now, and he can mention that he was working in that university and he taught you those subjects, and that would also be completely fine. Or if you did the research work under him, that's also completely good. You don't have to worry about it. Nah. All right. Now we have the short intro, right? Short intro is really important. It has to be done. Like there's no way around it. Especially for the people who are in the industry. Now then afterwards comes your achievements. Now, if you ever got a scholarship for anything, if you were selected in, I don't know, some kind of Olympiad or any kind of publication or something, it has to be mentioned by the professor, at least somewhere where it actually fits. So for example, I wouldn't be mentioning the research work and the projects that you did in the university in a letter which is actually being given by somebody from the industry. So like from your HR manager or project leader, it wouldn't really fit. If the professor writes it, it sounds more authentic. It is generally more authentic, and that's the way you should approach it. Also, it is nice if you mention some soft skills, or you ask the professor to mention some soft skills in the letter of recommendation, because yes, the subjects are going to be common. Most of the general trait that people write, that he's really intelligent, one of the smartest people I've seen, and so on, of course those things will be mentioned, but they don't really make you stand out. So it is going to be extremely important for you to see how you can devise something that it makes your letter of recommendation stand out. And for the same thing, it is also like really necessary that you let the admission committee know what kind of person you are. So as soon as you mention the soft skills, how you are in communication, how are your presentation skills, how are your problem solving skills, and so on, that will paint a different picture of you in the mind of the professors and so on. Now then we have afterwards, for the letter of recommendation, it is always better that you get it from the professors and not from assistant professors or somebody else who don't have any idea of what they are doing. So like, of course, now this shouldn't be offensive, but in general, that's what the German professors think, that if you are getting a letter of recommendation from anybody who is not who's not having a PhD, it wouldn't have the same kind of value or the same kind of weight like somebody who might have a PhD. All right, so like when you're getting your letter of recommendation, try to get it from somebody who has a PhD. So for the industry, for the HR manager and so on, it of course wouldn't matter. You can, he can have a master's degree or he can have a bachelor's degree, and if he's above you in the company's hierarchy, then it's completely fine. He should be able to write you a letter of recommendation, and that's how the companies, that's how the German universities regard it too. But for professors, it's like hands down, it's the best if your professor has a PhD who is recommending you for the particular university. Then also avoid exaggerated praise. Sometimes, like it's completely fine. Like letter of recommendation is supposed to be some kind of praise, but when you overdo it, when you act like you are Einstein and nobody like you ever existed on the planet, then it just takes a different turn, and the admission committee doesn't see it as genuine, and something that they wouldn't really consider. Like the letter of recommendation would really lose its purpose if it is just purely exaggerated praise. So Satyaki Chatterjee, if LOR from employer is not explicitly mentioned, should we send LOR from employer if the work experience is not relevant to the field where I'm applying? So if it's not explicitly mentioned, I wouldn't do that. If the work experience that you had isn't in alignment to what you studied, then it wouldn't really, serve its purpose. So I would leave that there. So also superlative forms, nah? So that means that every single time you are using something, that you are the best person, you are the smartest person, you are the kindest person, you are the most communicative person, all of those things which puts you at the highest level and puts everybody else below you, that isn't a good statement. That is not something that should be there in the letter of recommendation. It should be something which encourages the candidate for the university, right? Of course it has to be a praise, but it shouldn't be an exaggerated praise. So this is where the difference comes in. Also, it shouldn't exceed one A4 page. That is extremely important, that your letter of recommendation doesn't go on for 3 or 4 or 5 pages, because that wouldn't be nice, and most of the times again the admission committee doesn't really go through all of it again. So keep it around one A4 size page, and that's the best practice for writing a letter of recommendation. And the 10th and the last tip is that you should always be looking for the guidelines which are given on the university's website. Sometimes the university explicitly mentions that you need to give 3 letter of recommendations, 5 letter of recommendations, 10 letter of recommendations. In those cases, you have to be able to provide those, right? There is no going around it, and you just have to do it. There is no alternative to that. So with these things out of the way, I'm going to take a look at the letter of recommendations which were sent to me now. I received quite a many now, but again, let me just take a look and go through them and see which ones fit. So this is the part where you start asking your questions, or where I start reviewing your letter of recommendation, so that you have a better idea of things. And this is going to go on for, I was planning for 30 minutes, but it will go on for maybe 40 minutes. It really depends. For the people who were just here for the guidelines and some kind of normal idea of how to write the letter of recommendation, thank you for your audience. Thanks for joining in. And for the online courses that you are going to need, especially for learning German or something, and for orienting yourself for studying in Germany, you can find both of them on my website. Now let's start with the letter of recommendations. Both of these things, the link you will find on my website or also in the description, so don't worry about it. But for now, let's do the more important thing, and which is actually going through the letter of recommendations and see how they are. So we have alright, really high level of zoom. Have to put it back. Alright, it is my absolute pleasure to recommend Yash Kumar, who has worked as an undergraduate technical intern for a month in the IT department of Isla. Sorry again. Technical intern. I was a supervisor for the same. I thoroughly enjoyed my time working with Yash Kumar and came to know him as a truly valuable asset to any team. He is an astute observer, a curious listener, and an blah blah. Beyond that, he is an impressive problem solver who comes up with innovative ideas and suggestions. He is true team player and always manages to foster positive discussions. He has worked under IT department in network architecture and security team. I strongly believe that with his prudence and empathetic attitude, he will be able to. Again, so the problem with this letter of recommendation is it's too vague. It's like really too vague. If I cut this name here, now if I cut Yash Kumar and if I put my name inside it, it will work perfectly fine. Or if I put anybody's name inside it, it will look exactly the same. And it doesn't really make it, it doesn't make it individual. It doesn't make it different. It doesn't look like it was tailored for somebody. It looks like something, you put the names inside and you just let it run. So, Yash, if you can, try to ask this Alexander or like whoever this person is, try to ask your supervisor that they write something specific that you did in your training. Now, actually, this isn't really that necessary because it is the internship it is like a reference from the internship. I don't think it really makes sense if you intern there for just a month. The letter of recommendation wouldn't really sound that great. You can, rather than get two from the same company or like the university where you studied, that could be better. Now let me check out another one. So now we are having the one from Tausif Ahmed Hashmi. So Tausif's letter of recommendation is from somebody as a director teacher. Alright, so this is from the director teacher. I'm very pleased to write about Tausif Ahmed Hashmi, one of the best undergraduate students. Again, so it has to be something like I have taught from this and this year, or like in the last batch or something like that. Don't just write one of the best undergraduate students. Like, sounds too far-fetched. Now, like, makes you look like an Einstein, and I mean, you could be. It's completely fine. But it's just like it doesn't come out as polite. Also, it's just a bit blunt. The person has to be able to get an idea of what this director actually wants to tell to the admission committee. So just like, maybe edit this part. He was my direct student from 2014 to 2018. He graduated in July 2018 from Galgotias University. So again, this whole part sounds like you are actually writing somebody's CV and not a letter of recommendation. So leave that part. It really isn't necessary. Now, as a direct teacher, I found where is it? As a direct teacher, I found Tausif with outstanding competency in solving problems, complex logical problems, and thinking in scientific manners. He had a very strong background in engineering problems to reach to the heart of a challenging problem through his deep insight and analyzing it first and formulate. Okay, like, it could be interesting. And now the thing is, because these kind of letter of recommendations look too boring, many a times what you can do is like you can also like put these things bold. So something which is really standing out in the text, you can put that thing in bold. It is completely fine. Also, instead of letter of recommendation, it could also be whomsoever to whomever it may concern, or to whomsoever it may concern, something like that. Just a second, we have another letter of recommendation coming in. Yeah, so his pre-university academic result was also outstanding. The quality of his integrity and coolness to realize and analyze the topic is impressive. I don't know if coolness would be the right adjective here. It could be his judgment. or just like, you know, try to be creative and like put the synonyms in the Google. Yeah, just put the synonym for this word in Google and see what comes up. He can communicate well in English. Okay, so like this is the part where the soft skills come in, which is nice. He has good inquisitive and analytical mind, but again, analytical mind is coming over and over again because you already almost say it when you're saying through his deep insight and analyzing it first. And I think then analyze the topic is impressive. So the same word is getting repeated too many times. Rather keep the letter of recommendation short and really crispy than really making it too big. Nah. I'm glad to know that he's trying for admission to your graduate program. For his superior qualities, I recommend him very strongly. I also recommend him highly for any possible financial assistance in form of... Okay, so this part should go away because financial assistance you will not get from the university, at least for the from the public universities. It's just not the case. It doesn't happen here. Nah. And then afterwards, you know, once I have gone through your documents, I'm actually going to take you to the document that a really good friend of mine made, and it is like one of the best letter of recommendations that I have personally seen. So once that is done, I'm going to show you that so that you have an idea of what exact things I'm talking about. But before we go there, let's actually yeah, Utkarsh, I know the live stream isn't smooth. I have no idea. Like, I really got better internet and everything, and it's just like dropping once in a while. Otherwise, it's like running really nicely. Let's hope it doesn't happen too frequently. Otherwise, I have to change the time of the live streams. Alright, so like in this one, again, you know, the only nice part that I liked here was this video streaming app. Yes, like, you know, it is really important to mention what kind of subjects he taught you, and it is also really... It would be nice if he is actually able to tell something about some kind of experience he had with you, which actually made him, like, you know, recommend you at this point of time. So that is something which is really important and something that you should like definitely think about. But otherwise, if anybody doesn't get an idea, you know what we have to do when I show you the document. Alright, so we have another letter of recommendation coming up, and one more important thing to know, like I think this is important for everybody to know, that what I'm doing right now, the letter of recommendation reviews that I'm doing right now, it's like, it's not exhaustive. So when you sit down to actually review a letter of recommendation, it takes a lot more time. You have to actually figure out at what kind of place would it be better to include what kind of words or what kind of phrases and so on. So giving the structure does take a lot of time, and that's why, you know, I have the services on my website. But it is also nice to actually get an idea. So like what we are doing right now is trying to give you an idea of what kind of letter of recommendation would look better, so that you have a good bottom line to start from. So now this letter of recommendation that I'm seeing from Satyaki Chatterjee, this looks like a good letter of recommendation. Somehow it's really screwed up. Let's see if it becomes okay. Alright, better. It's doing this weird thing. Alright, doesn't matter. So we have letter of recommendation as the head of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering in this. I'm pleased to write this recommendation letter for my student Satyaki Chatterjee, recommending him to this really nice. This is like more personalized. This is like the professor took out time to let me just so this is a really nice way of addressing it. Makes the admission committee feel like that, you know, the letter of recommendation was written for the sole purpose of actually that particular course. So was a coordinator. So coordinator, this O will go small, of project lab for the final year. During our acquaintance, I assessed his scholastic and other abilities. He was a brilliant, diligent, and self-motivated person. His day-to-day academic work showed his keen interest in his subjects of engineering. He efficiently completed his assignments in time. His lab work reflected his excellent analytical skills and ability of divergent thought. In the Viva was I could never speak that word. That's the funny part. Viva, like I just call it Viva, of practical exam. He showed sound knowledge of his subject. His attendance in all semesters was up to the mark, and his performance in university examinations was also good. He academically performed well due to his sincerity and enthusiasm, and his consistency revealed his ability and capacity. He took active part in college technical fests. As technical advisor, he possessed good leadership qualities which were observed during his project work, college technical fest. He set standards for proper planning and execution through his work, and also demonstrated strong team spirit. He possesses the ability to cope up with difficult situations patiently. He is perfectly suited to the master's program, and I am confident of his tenacity to perform well at your university. Also, I strongly recommend him for admission and financial assistantship at your university. I wish him all the best for his career and future endeavors. Now, this definitely looks like a great letter of recommendation, and it's definitely the best one I've seen, like at least in this session right now. But some parts that could be done better is, first of all, like mentioning, all right, so I taught him subjects like microprocessor, this. So you can make these things in bold. So whatever subjects he taught you, you can make them in bold, and you can also mention something specific about the subjects that the professor taught you. So you can write something about some kind of assignment, or like some kind of work that you did which was really good, or like which was really interesting for him, something like that. So like it's better to also mention a bit more, because again, like as soon as you see things, like if more than if more than 50 or more than 60% of the things are becoming like way too general, then you're doing something wrong. And like try to like rather keep it to 50-50, that you're also able to show that yes, this is my letter of recommendation, my professor is recommending me for this university, and this is somebody else's. So again, a nice letter of recommendation, but again, I will show you what things could be done better in the end, when I'm going through the final letter of recommendation, which I think is the best one, which really exists by far. Oh man, I'm so hungry right now. Okay, so we have Srinidhi's document, which is another letter of recommendation. So I'm really curious to read this one. Letter of recommendation, I, then comma, then Dr. G.B. Krishnappa, Professor and R&D, Dean of VVCE, affiliated to university. Alright, so this is like too much. Affiliated to this is not necessary. So like you can write the name of your college. Would like to support and give my bona fide, I think the spelling is different, it comes together, recommendation to Mr. Srinidhi R.S., who is a prospective student for master's studies in your esteemed university. I consider myself, so again, like from this I remembered that in this part, it could also be nice that if you're writing he's perfectly suited to the master's program. Alright, so you have already mentioned above, so like it doesn't really make sense. If there's something, this could be next level. If you are actually able to like persuade your professor to write something more specific about the universities, or like the university's research or something like that, which the professor thinks is interesting and would fit the kind of interests he had till now. So for example, this is advanced signal processing and communication engineering. Advanced signal processing and communications engineering. Now the website will come up for FAU Erlangen. Now we go there real quick. and then you go to the part of the research. So here now you can go to research networks or research profile. You can go and you see what kind of institute is offering this. Now, so you can go down if it's mentioned or not. Otherwise, you can always read more information. Now, then you go to the research, reimagine or something like that, and then you see what kind of research focus areas at the faculties. So you have to do some, like next level thing for your LOR to like stand out most of the time. So here I would go to Faculty of Engineering, and I'll go there and see if the research is being showing there. Research priorities. So these are the key research priorities is happening for everybody. But here you can go to the institutes and programs and see if there's something which stands out, if there's some kind of, a document which summarizes all different kind of researches for the university. You can take that document and you can mention it. You can ask the professor to actually mention it in the letter of recommendation, which is going to be really, really nice and will really make your letter of recommendation stand out. Alright, so Srinidhi, who is a prospective student for master's studies in your esteemed university, I consider myself to be aptly placed to judge his skills, knowledge, and character. I taught him design of machine elements in his third year. His punctuality in attending classes, seminars, and his attitude always ensured him to excel in academics. He was one among the few students who could understand the subject with quality that is needed for masters. He has a good academic record in all the semesters, which displays his perseverance. He has secured 74.05% with first class with distinction and is in the top 10% out of approximately 137 students in the graduation class, most probably. Throughout his course of study, he had been engaged in various activities such as this. He was successful in applying his engineering skills and knowledge for a positive outcome of many projects he has done in 4th and 5th semester. So this is like this is a better thing. Like, this is more tailored. It's like more achievement oriented, and this is like in general, other than the grammatical mistakes, it is a really nice letter of recommendation till now. Also, his analytical skills, really nice. He took suggestions from me regarding design aspects of his final year project. He also, so like this looks really, really, tailored. This looks really individual. So I would say this is a good letter of recommendation. But of course, you can also definitely mention like the soft skills that are mentioned here: mature personality, eagerness to acquire new skills, and so on. You can also mention something about communication and leadership or presentation skills, something like that. Whatever you think fits you. Yeah, but overall, it is a good letter of recommendation. Now let's go to another one. Another letter of recommendation that I got. Alright, so we have another one here. This is from Sagar. I take this opportunity to introduce and recommend Mr. Sagar Make to you for graduate studies in your prestigious institution. One of the most promising and enterprising students in your prestigious institution. I have known as a lecturer. I have been closely associated with Mr. Sagar in classes and laboratory sessions. I have taken the theory classes for him in Theory Machines 111. Took practical classes for this. His performance in the subject has been excellent. He has displayed an exceptional understanding of the fundamentals of this. Inquisitive lectures, 2 bit more than the textbooks. He has always, during his practical classes, apart from his regular academic activities. Okay, so like this really becomes very generic somehow. So take some inspiration from the previous ones that I showed. Like this was a well written letter of recommendation. Even the letter of recommendation that Satyaki got was also really good because it specifically mentions the name of the university. Now, so like you could get something like that. And here again, I think the subjects could be mentioned a bit more in detail, but otherwise, all in all, the letter of recommendation looks good. Um, here, here I think like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, the number of paragraph is good, but like I would generally keep it to 4 or something. But again, like this looks good without a doubt. Now let's go to another one. So we have another letter of recommendation coming in from somebody. Let's just put it right here. Okay, okay. I was hoping that it actually grows big. All right, nice. It's getting bigger. Too big. So this is a university. I don't know where it is. It's not really written. I can't read maybe. So must be from Pune, affiliated there, or like maybe somewhere around it. I am very pleased to know that Rahul Rao is applying at your renowned university for pursuing his master's degree, specializing in computer science. Myself, being the senior faculty of computer engineering, have known Rahul since 2013 when he was in his second year of his computer engineering degree course. I had an opportunity of this. I would like to highlight that he is obedient, energetic, and a positively motivated student. Rahul Rao was always one among the top 10. Okay, this. Also, apart from IBM, Java backend, IBM DB2. Alright. So, I think the first thing that's like missing me right now is. Okay, like the name of the subjects are mentioned, but I think the soft skills haven't been touched like in that much depth. So maybe you can take some things out from maybe this part and like combine it with the soft skills and put in the last section. That could be a nice way to approach things. No, I think like that is definitely my advice. Now let like we are ending towards the last few minutes. Let me show you the best, like what in my regard is by far the best letter of recommendation that I have ever seen from anybody. And with this letter of recommendation, the person actually got admit to New York University. Now don't think that the letter of recommendations work differently. No, they have an international standards, and like some things have to be mentioned in most of the letter of recommendation. So if you are making something for your for some other country, it might as well also work in Germany, because letter of recommendation, like I said, are more or less international. Now, so this comes like the absolute bomb letter of recommendation, one of the best ones that I have ever seen, and something that I tell everybody to use at motivation to form their own letter of recommendation, especially in the online course that I have, the students who are enrolled in there. And I work together with them to actually like make these things look better. So here's how a really, really nice letter of recommendation will go. So, I am recommending blah 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 to pursue his graduate studies in the field of structural engineering at your esteemed university. I've known him as one of my sincere students for the last 3 years, which has given me ample time to assess him both academically and personally. I've been his project guide and assistant professor in subjects like structural engineering, structural analysis 1 to 3, and I'm currently delivering him lectures on design of steel structures too, and advanced design of concrete structures. He has a good understanding of the fundamentals of these subjects, which will help him a great deal in enhancing his skills during the graduate studies in the field of structural engineering. He has consistently performed well and is ranked among the top 10 students of class 75. He's articulate and can express himself well both in a formal teaching context and in an informal discussion. In these years of acquaintance, I have found his ideas to be innovative and creative, and especially when he presented a colloquium on this. At present, I am guiding him on the final year project, this, and also on a mini project, this. I have monitored him closely and observed that his diligence and pragmatic analysis prove his competence. I was informed of his keen interest in structural engineering when he, the only student of his batch, attended the project seminar, based seminar, blah blah, by Civil Simplified and gained command over this. So like here could be a better part could be that he also says that which were used in this and this of my class. So like something like that could be nicer, so that it doesn't look like the professor is recommending the students or bragging about this part without any reason. He also took the initiative to be a 1-year member of the Indian Concrete Institute ICI with one of my colleagues. On the personal level, he bears a good character. He has excellent command over English and a positive attitude, making him stand out. In addition, he has always been punctual in submitting the assignments, whether participation or organization. He is equally competitive in case of extracurricular activities. I have found this a student with immense potential, which will help him succeed in his endeavor to obtain the master's degree. He wants to update his knowledge with the latest advances of this. I have absolutely no hesitation in recommending this for admission to your university graduate program. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you require any further information. So like this was a really good letter of recommendation, very well written, and it is totally focused towards your soft skills part and also towards your academic part, which is really nice. Now, then if you combine this letter of recommendation, because the other ones were really nice too, if you combine this letter of recommendation, the way of writing of this one, and you combine it with, wait, not this, where's the one, yeah, so if you actually mention the name of the target course, which will be really nice. Was there anything else better here? No, so like again, I think this was something which was nicer, which was more tailored, which was more individual. And you mix it with the parts of this one, the one I just showed you, the letter of recommendation. It is going to be really one of the best letter of recommendation. One of the best letter of recommendations that the university can really see. So I think like I really hope that this session brought a lot of value to you. If it did, please feel free to leave a like on the video. It increases the engagement, and then YouTube thinks, alright, this video is nice, so let me promote it to other people too. So that's how it works. So for now, I would actually go back to the screen, and I would tell you that if you have to, send your letter of recommendation for reviews, now you can actually submit it on my website. Now you can place an order there, but try to do it on your own, because I have given you the guidelines. The most important guidelines are there, covered in this video, and then if you have any kind of need, you can, just put it for a review on my website. But like I said, try to do it on your own. With that out of the way, let me come back to here to the face cam, and let me answer some of your questions. I have 10 more minutes now, so 10 more minutes now, and then afterwards I'm meeting Alina. We are going to Alina's mother's place and eating something nice, some nicely cooked food. And the fun part is, because we don't have to cook, so like we are always really, really happy to be able to eat that. Sarvesh Kulkarni, let me read the chat now. So, Sarvesh Kulkarni, check email please, charcha with Chaudhary at gmail.com. Alright, Sarvesh. Yeah, the thing is, I'm not really receiving any kind of, study related emails there. Like, I'm not really entertaining those there. So if you have anything related to studying in Germany or something, like, this channel is the way to approach. The second channel, I really don't want any stress there. So I'm going to just like absolutely do what I want, speak about the things that I want. and just keep it more relaxed, because right now with this channel it has become like more confined. Like the audience is there, everybody who wants to come to Germany, so I have to, you know, like tailor my videos accordingly. So like I have an audience to serve, and like that's what I'm doing. But on the other channel, there's like just absolutely the people who just want to hang out, they are there. So I'm also like going to take it that way. I'm really excited about the second channel right now. But प्रकाश, क्या बात है, आज पराठे नहीं खाने पड़ेंगे? भाई पराठे कौन बना रहा है? पराठे कोई नहीं बना रहा भाई, लजानिया बना रही है अलीना की माँ, तो भाई अब वही खाएंगे वहाँ पे बैठ के. Alright, so you know, if you have some other questions, let me know. I have another 8 minutes left. Okay, so what are the documents required for job searching visa? So Sayed, this is a really simple question. You can just directly go to Google Chrome and you come here, you write job seekers visa checklist, and that's it. You will find the checklist, which is like the first link on Google. So like that's how easy it is. So you just go through it. That's pretty much the documents which are needed. They wouldn't ask you for anything more than this, so nothing to worry about. Okay. Praveen Mulchandani, hi Bharat, is it necessary to get LOR from college for experienced professionals? So Praveen, if you have more than 5 years of work experience, then of course it's not that necessary. Or like sometimes even if you have more than 3 years of work experience, like after that you can give both of the letter of recommendations from the industry, so it will be fine as long as it is in compliance to whatever field that you studied. But if you did something different, if you worked in some other field and it is absolutely not related to what you are doing right now, or like in which masters you want to apply yourself. Good night, Pooja. Pooja has been active in so many videos, so thanks for that. So yes, like I was saying, you know, if you have more than 3 years of work experience, then you can get both of your letter of recommendations from the industry itself, like from the company where you're working at. But otherwise, if that's not the case, I would highly recommend you to get one letter of recommendation from the you know, from the university, and one letter of recommendation just from job. That's how simple it is. Okie dokie. So we have another one, Garvahuja. Can I go to Germany for higher study, done bachelor's from distance learning? I don't know if you can, because Germans take this really seriously. If you have done your bachelor's from Enzimam, good night. Everybody who wants to sleep, please feel free to sleep. It's completely fine. I think it's late in India now already. 10 o'clock, right? Like, I think it's a time for sleeping, especially when you're at home. When your parents are looking over your shoulder every single moment, then of course you have to sleep soon. But I'm telling you, like at the time when I was in my college, nobody used to sleep at 10. I think we were sleeping sometimes even at 4 o'clock in the morning. And we would sleep for 3 hours, and then afterwards we will wake up again and we will go to the class, which would be at 8 o'clock. Yeah, our university was bad in that sense. Not 8 o'clock, like some classes were at 8:15 or something, but most of them weren't, because no professor used to come there. So, Arun Sharma, भाई मेरे क्वेश्चन का भी रिप्लाई कर दे. अरुण देख, अब यहाँ पे तू अपना क्वेश्चन डाल देता तो मैं तेरे क्वेश्चन का रिप्लाई कर देता डायरेक्टली. भाई स्मार्ट काम किया करो ना. Swapnil Deshpande, hi Bharat, do we need letter of recommendation on the company letterhead? Yes, that is going to be definitely better. Sarvesh Kulkarni, LOR from mentor or project guide, whose will make a good impact according to you? Just a second. LOR from mentor or project guide. I would rather say, you know, the mentor is going to be better. And if from mentor you mean your mentor for the bachelor thesis, yes, that will be better. Vishal Khatri, hello, I will be applying for master's course in University of Hohenheim. I need letter of recommendation reference, LOR references. So, Vishal, I don't really know what you mean, but like see what kind of documents you have to. भाई सिविल का कुछ स्कोप है जर्मनी में? भाई अरुण, कितना वाहियात सवाल है यार ये. मतलब मैं तेरे को स्कोप से क्या बताऊं कि मतलब वहाँ पे जर्मनी में क्या सिविल इंजीनियर्स बिना जॉब के बैठे हुए हैं? भाई ऐसा तो सीन है नहीं. अगर ऐसा सीन होता तो मैं कभी आता ही नहीं यहाँ पे. तो ये जो स्कोप वगैरह वाले सवाल है ना यार, ये मतलब बहुत यूजलेस हैं. तो बुरा ना मान, पर यही सीन है भाई. मतलब इनसे कोई कोई फ़ायदा होता नहीं है इन जनरल. मतलब जो कोई भी डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज़ हैं वो डेवलप्ड इसीलिए हैं क्योंकि जो भी फील्ड में कोई बंदा काम करना चाह रहा है उसको उसकी जॉब करने, मतलब अपनी फील्ड में पढ़ाई करने के बाद उसको जॉब मिल पा रही है. तो ये जो है मतलब काफ़ी बढ़िया चीज़ है. और जर्मनी में भी सेम सेम काम है. Utkarsh Chaudhary, I quit my full time job and now I am working as a freelance writer for automobile websites. So, should I get the letter of recommendation from my previous employer or my current freelance clients? Alright, so I think in this case, I would definitely go for the letter of recommendation from previous employer. Like, it really depends. If the work you're doing right now as a freelance client, if it fits, if it fits better for the master's program in which you want to apply, then of course, like, get the reference from your freelance clients. But otherwise, get it from the previous employers because maybe there's something more technical that you did there. So that's pretty much the thing. All right, भाइयों और बहनों, 2 मिनट बचे हैं. I will get my bike ready now. Also, keep an eye out for a gift guide. We are going to do a gift guide because Christmas is coming. So everybody who is living in Germany or everybody who celebrates Christmas, I think this could be something really interesting for you. And just check it out. I think it will be coming out in a week or so because Alina is also going to be there. We are going to sit down. We are going to talk about what kind of gifts we are buying or planning to buy. And we're just going to share those things with you because Christmas is a huge deal when you're in Germany. And yeah, it's like through the channel you just get used to the culture of of this new country too, so that when you come here it is going to be easier for you to make the transition. For me it was tough, but not as tough as somebody else who might not have a German wife. For me it was easy, like in that sense, because yes, Alina was there and the cultural transition, that was nicer, that was easier. No, so I have done that, so I'm going to like try to help you to do the same. The bad part is I don't really like this reflection all the time in my class. I'll do something about it. But anyways, thanks a lot for joining in. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I understand this topic wasn't interesting for everybody, but it was definitely a very important topic, and it had to be made so that you can do all of the things on your own. And yeah, that was the mission, that was the aim, and I think that's pretty much finished. If somebody hasn't checked the video on the Hindi channel out, you can do that. And now I'm going to go. Have a good night. Sleep really tight. And I'm going to see you next week at the same time. And let's do that, okay? Bye-bye.